loan work is a registered trademark of local operating network. The name given by this particular manufacturer of this particular protocol or development by this particular protocol is a widely used standard protocol for many types of control applications, So in this, we can say that one of the application we can have this particular building automation is one of the application of this particular protocol. So you can also, or you may be aware of this different protocols in another subject also, in maybe in industrial automation and that. So you may be well familiar with different types of protocols that are mainly required in industrial automation. So as this particular is a building automation, so that yes, this is very important protocol, and it was created by the manufacturer Echelon in 1988, and in the year 1999 it was accepted as a standard protocol by ANSI, that is American National Standard Institute for Control Networking Applications. So by their name, we can have this particular ANSI/CEA-709.1-B. So this particular is the standard developed by this particular protocol, and it can be a CEA also accept that is the Consumer Electronic Association, that also granted this particular protocol. The protocol's largest application area, yes, we can say that this particular loan work, you may not be heard this particular protocol in your list of industrial automation application, because it is specifically or large amount it can be used in building automation, and is a standard. We can say that it is an international standard. This protocol makes a international standard with millions of installed devices around the whole world. This particular loan work is supported by LoanMark, that is international, is an independent consortium of manufacturers that promote efficient and effective integration of open multi-vendor control systems. So this particular organization, or we can say that LoanMark International, is a company that mainly involved in this particular development, and that promote efficient and effective integration development, and that is also open as well as multi-vendor control systems. Okay, this provides an open platform, and it is also provide to have multi-vendor control possible. This particular organization develops standards and provide device certification also. So this is loan work. So as we are well familiar with this meaning of this particular LON, that is local operating network, and it's essentially the common name for loan work platform, which is developed by Echelon. Yes, it is very clear to us. Echelon came up with loan work platform, and the loan work platform itself consists of loan talk protocol. Means there is a platform also, right now. So it is a platform. On that platform, this particular protocol is developed. So that is loan work platform, and that protocol is loan talk protocol. Loan devices operate essentially in a peer-to-peer fashion. Yes, peer-to-peer means component to component, device to device fashion on network. That is very important thing. Also known as a local operating network, hence the name LON. And whereas the lot of protocol required is supervisory devices to process request, which then feeds data to either a server or to the another supervisory device loan. But loan is little bit different in other what we can say that, so lot of other protocols in between the we can say that the server or a controller, there are different supervisory devices are also there, but this is different than others. We can stick all the loan devices, we can say that, onto single network platform or segment, and when they are properly configured, they will communicate with one another. Yes, and that will be independent of any supervisory device. Yes, in the previous paragraph also we clearly understand that in other protocol in between there are supervisory devices, but here this particular loan protocol is independent of any supervisory device. That will also be independent of any server, independent of plugins, etc. So it is completely a independent platform. Applications. So which are the application? Yes, building automation, what we are discussing is very important. The majority of loan work devices involve building projects, including HVAC and lighting. Yes, in that also specifically it is useful in HVAC and lighting type of solutions. The protocol is also used in many other markets such as outdoor lighting, transportation, utility application, process control in industry, and home automation also. Yes, there are a lot of applications of this particular protocol. You can see wide variety of applications. What are the highlights of this particular loan work protocols? So millions of installed devices are successfully running over whole world, we can say, and it can be developed specifically for building automation. Yes, standardized application assure consistency regardless of vendor. Any kind of vendors, no issues of that. There is a standardized application and there is a surety of consistency. It can be supported by hundreds of other manufacturers. This particular protocol is supported by hundreds of other devices, other components. They are required in any building automation or any other type of application. So this particular protocol supports all of the devices, field devices or any other devices. And there is a simple installation. There is a flexible connectivity via range of media. Various ways we can transmit the signals. So there is a flexibility of media. That is also very important highlight feature of this particular protocol. So networking, how it can be done, the networking part. So the topology used is either daisy chain topology or star or mixed topology is implemented. The media that is involved in this particular protocol may be twisted pair, cables, wires, or maybe we can say power lines can also be incorporated. Maybe fiber optic cables can be incorporated, or maybe wireless type of things can also be incorporated by this particular protocol. And the transport protocols are mainly involved in this particular are connect to IP aware application or remote network management tools using IP. Tunneling standard, that is ISO IEC 14904-4, or we can simply say NC/CEA standard. So this particular protocol works with this particular standards, and it works on IP type of sub protocols. So in that, this particular IEC is also a very old standard. You may be familiar with that, ISO and IEC, that is International Electrochemical Commission. So that is actually a headquarter of that particular standard is in the city of London, and that particular standard is very old. We can say in 1906 that standard was that particular organization was developed in London. So license are free, yes, but yes, some things are we can say that can be paid this particular fee required for this particular license by the product manufacturer. And yes, regional relevance is very very broad, we can say. In I think all of the community, all of the countries, this particular standard is mainly used. So ISO IEC, yes, 14908 global standard. then European standard, US, China, and majority of the things are mentioned in this particular thing. So this is regional. The regional relevance is very broad by this particular standard, this particular protocol. And this is the website for the standard protocol, that is the www.loanmark.org. This is an organization. So some more details are also there for this particular loan. So there are a lot of things, terminologies, and that things are involved in this particular loan work, we can say. So you can see there are nodes, there are transceivers, there are channels, then there are the different types of FT and EIA type of devices. Then there's protocols for talking, there is a stacks, there are objects, there is a network, LNS, OS operating system, what type of programming, and there is a comparison. So these particular things are actually required to know in details when anyone want to go in a deeper sense of this particular protocol. As per the computer engineering point of view, those can go through these particular details. But to get an idea of any what things are there in a particular protocol, so let us in brief we can have the discussion on this particular thing, so that you will get idea that what terminologies and there the things are there in particular protocol. So now we can start with the nodes, transceivers, and channels. What do we mean by these particular things? So that the loan devices which are known as nodes, right? The loan devices which are known as nodes. And once again, it's really important to focus on the nomenclature, because the nomenclature is often what confuses folks when you are on the phone with technical support, when you are trying to figure out why this stuff is not working. These particular terminologies are very important when we are actually working in field as a control engineer, or as an instrumentation engineer, or as a network or any other type of engineer. So in that case, if any problem arises, at that time it is very essential to know the proper nomenclatures. Loan devices are known as the nodes, and they utilize network interfaces known as transceivers. So these are the devices, and they utilize different network interface. The interface is known as transceivers. So as from their words also we can easily understand this: transmission and receiver. These are similar to network interface cards. We know the cards of interface like a data card and a DAC card and that. Loan nodes communicate across the local physical network connection. Okay, these particular nodes are communicating with the local physical network connection known as a channel. So what do we mean by channel? That is the physical network connection, local physical network connection with different nodes, that is called as channel. So to summarize, nodes use transceiver to communicate across channel. So we can simply say that nodes use transceivers to communicate across the channel. Now it's really important that each device on a specific channel must be communicating at the same speed. So that is also a very important part, that each device in this particular nodes must communicate at the same type of speed. Then we can say, what do we mean by this particular thing, FT10 and that EIA852? This become really important when we are dealing with FT, means flow transmitter, for example, 10, and this particular standard EIA852. The FT is known of two-wire serial connection. Now we know that the flow transmitters, many of the transmitters may be of 2-wire, 3-wire, 4-wire. For example, if a 2-wire serial transmitter connection from a transmitter, and EIA52 is an protocol, is an IP connection, right? Now, so FT10 and EIA, now we get this particular idea. It means that in industry, all this type of understanding is always with such type of nomenclatures. So as you are well familiar with the DCS and that, and the PM and the project engineering and management and that subjects. So you may know that we are always using the different types of PNID and that. So this particular terminology is mainly involved in that particular diagrams and understanding of the connections, whole plant connections, or the control strategy can be designed and developed using different types of terminology or these nomenclatures. Now there is a many other channel types with LON. It can be also that there are also many other type of channels types with LON, but these are the most prevalent. As with everything that we are learned, once again nomenclature is very important. So LON talk protocol, to communicate with the internal different nodes by different transceivers and that, there is a LON talk protocol. So the LON talk protocol, as we started earlier, protocols are the set of rules for communications. So LON talk is different, but it's similar to the BACnet protocol. Both protocol use the concept of network IDs. In BACnet also, in a brief sense, I shown the diagrams and that. In that, there are also network IDs and source and destination IDs required for the communication. So similar concept, but somehow small change may be there in this particular. When it become to LON talk type of protocol, however, there are actually two big differences between the LON talk and BACnet. So what are the two big differences? One difference is that here the channels are available, and say what we can say with this. The first is that each device is communicating across a channel, and those devices can be independent of the supervisory devices. But BACnet, in communication, that is with the supervisory devices, but this here supervisory devices, so that is may not required. So there is an independent thing. Channels are equivalent of the field trunk in BACnets. So channel in BACnet there are field trunks. So here we can call them channels. And the second difference between the BACnet and this protocol is network variables. So what is this? So the other change is network variables, often called network variable inputs. Network variable inputs. So variable inputs, that is the inputs to that particular network. So that is called NVIs, and network variable outputs. So from this particular network, yes, obviously the things are inputs and some things are outputs. Basically, these are logical objects. They are logical objects that exist within the LON devices. And these logical objects allow the LON devices to essentially create logical bindings, that is called aka logical links. So these are the terminology, aka, that is the terminology, aka logical links. So their clarification is also given somewhere else. So we continue with this protocol, LON talk. For example, if we wanted to bind global outdoor temperature, correct? What, for example, we want to particularly this particular temperature parameter, we will bind the OAT, that is from the controller to the OAT sensor, means this particular temperature sense, outdoor temperature sensor, we can say that. So the controller transmit this particular information to from the sensor to the controller, and then from controller to this particular final control element through this particular NVO output networks to an outdoor air NVI at all the other controllers. So this NVI and NVOs, they are actually from the sensor to the controller, they are NVIs, and from controller to the final control devices, there may be NVOs. What are different LON services? Now what you will be happy about is that LON embraces unacknowledged and acknowledge messages responses, so that very similar to BACnet. Yes, the acknowledgement, yes, this signal get transmitted, yes, acknowledge, so not unacknowledge. This type of communication is very messages can be easily we can have possible with this particular protocol. So basic part of this protocol are the loan stack, we can say. So this loan stack, now here is the biggie, that is the BACnet uses BACnet stack in order to communicate, and BACnet communicate, and the BACnet stack essentially is how we go about implementing the BACnet protocol. So this stack is actually perform the role in implementation. The BACnet stack, it required each individual company to code their own BACnet stack. So this stack, and that when this terminology you will be more and more familiar with when you are using actual DCS and performing their experimentation. So in this stack you can be clear about this stack and that concept. The stack being from layer 1 of the OSI model, that is physical layer, all the way to level to a layer 7s. We know that OSI model is of 7 layers. The LON handles layers 1 through the 6 inside the neuron chips. Yes, what difference between that is and this LON is that it handles the layer 1 through 6 inside neuron chips. This ensures that the consistency across the physical layer to the presentation layer is guaranteed by this particular stack, LON stack. So there are neuron chips also, as mentioned over here. It handles the layers through 6 neuron chips. The neuron chips is a computer chip that has the LON stack pre-programmed inside it, so that the manufacturer will then access the functionality of the LON stack from the chip using their application layer software. So this is this particular picture. Now you can see some sort of the blocks present in this particular LON protocols. You can see that yes, there are field devices are like a switch, and that can be mentioned through different lines of network, that is IO conditioning, and that intends to I2 counters, drives, and that. Then it goes to actual controller part. You can see there are RAM, ROM, PROM, and that. And in another part, the communication is also between the second channel. That channel is trans-receiver channel. So that also involves the different types of CPU and that. So you can see the parallel connections, different parallel CPUs are present in these particular layers. So basically, it is mentioned by simplified diagram in this a complete block under we can what we call as a neuron chip, and that this actually comprises the different IO and then RAM, ROM part of the particular controllers. So neuron chips are where we get our physical addresses for our LON devices. Physical address is very important, so that from the hundreds of the field devices, to identify which device is replying, which device is sending information, and to get the information correctly from the zones. So that ID and that part is very important, and it can be by 48-bit ID. So this particular 48-bit ID, known as a neuron ID, is what identifies the nodes on the LON network. So when node is added to the LON network, you will press the service pin and the node will ring. This particular this type of details are given to identify and to ring to connect these particular devices with this particular network. So there are different IDs can be generated with this particular device. So I will not go in more about this neuron chips and that. Okay, so in the purest sense of the LON, one heading is mentioned over there. The LON, there are two types of nodes. So we can say that sensor nodes and actuator nodes. So sensor node, obviously, this node is passing information from field to controller. Actuator node, we know very well, this is actually the final control task performed over there. That's why it's called actuator node. Then what is sensor node? Sensor node produces data for the network. In their purest sense, they should only be processing inputs and sharing this data across the network. So this is transmission. Example of this particular loan, for example, the signals coming from the light switches, then the doer switches, and the sensors, and that sensor nodes share their data via NOVs. Actuator node. Actuator node consume data, means that controller passes signal through this node. On the network, in their purest sense, they should only be driving output based on the data from inputs on the network. So this terminology we are going to be familiar. These nodes and that and the network, the layer, all these terminologies are required to be familiar, so that we are discussing these particular things in one by one. Example of this will be the light blast, the lawn door locks, and that damper actuators. So controlling part, this is the controlling part, so that we can call that as actuator nodes. Actuator nodes share their data via NVIs. So this is opposite. So NVIs means this particular is not from sensor to controller, but it is from controller to actuator, that is NVIs, and from sensor to controller, that is actually NVOs. So there are nodes, so that node addressing is also there. So as we discussed, the lone node's physical address is in the neuron ID. So that is 48-bit ID. But the lone nodes also have a logical address. So there is a neuron ID, there is a logical address also. This address is known as a node ID and can be any number between 1 to 127. The node IDs, however, must be unique in their subnets. So lone controllers are also there. This is another component of this protocol, lone controller. Let's be realistic, having a separate device for sensors and actuators. While cool in concept, it is very practical. Why? That's why some nodes are both sensor and actuator nodes. Some nodes are actually both, that can be act as a sensor node also and actuator node. You will see this most commonly in lone controllers. There are two types of lone controllers. The first is the application specific controller, and second is pre-programmable controller. So this can be free controller, so can be modified for any application. And the first one is a dedicated, we can say that this is for the specific application. That controller we cannot modify, they are permanent, designed for the specific application. There is no what we can say, that the things cannot be modified, so that facility cannot be available for the users or the developers. Then low controller application, for example, if we say application specific controller, have a specific application or set of application and are configured via LNS OS using plugins. So now they are configured via LNS OS. Now this is operating system. Now we will now move to the operating system part using plugins. Now plugin is also one terminology that comes picture. Plugins are manufacturer specific softwares that allows the configuration of non-ASCs, that is application specific controllers. So that we know that when there is a controller, there is a software for that. Then second type of controller is a pre-programmable controller, are controllers that have no existing application. So they are actually like a PLCs, so that we can use for any application. The application is created dynamically using the manufacturer software. The pros of FPCs, that is pre-programmable controllers, are that you can freely program them. The downside is that there is downside also. Without the manufacturer software, which is often not shared, you have no way to configure the FPC. But yes, we also face the same type of problem. One of our alumni donated us a micro PLC, but unfortunately that only hardware is donated to our lab, but there is a problem of the software. So without software, actually we can't use that particular PLC. So that also the matter, because software when we want to be installed in this particular PLC or hardware, so we require to take the license of that. Then there is a akka, right? What one where somewhere this particular akka concept was that. So this loan mark devices interface with somehow equal the acronym XIF is probably the most important file you are working with if you want to pull loan devices into your supervisor. So this actually particular things, these are the files actually, important files, and that required to pull the loan devices into supervisory devices. This XIF files tells your supervisory devices what inputs, outputs, NVIs and NOVs there are exist. So this is files. XIF are the files to communicate with the supervisory devices, because mainly in this supervisory devices are not involved, but if you want to involve, then this particular XIF files plays the role. This is incredibly important, as in having no XIF or incorrect XIF will keep your supervisor from being able to communicate loan devices. So incorrect files cannot communicate with the supervisory devices. So we got the different object, like there are 32 I hope 32 objects in BACnet. So here also there are objects in loan. So loan objects are similar to BACnet objects. They exist to perform specific outcomes, and like BACnet object, loan object can be nested inside other object. So they are linked with each other, they are nested inside each other. So there are 6 basic loan objects, which are that. First one is node object. Second one is open loop sensor. Third one is closed loop sensor. Fourth one is open loop actuator. Fifth one is closed loop actuator. So open loop, closed loop, open loop, closed loop. That concept is for sensor and for actuator. And finally, controller. So these particular 5 or 6 layers are important for this loan. Now there are multiple loan object types, but the most important object type you will work with these are network variables. So there are many, but which are important? Network variables, configuration parameter, these two are important. So now these NVs and SNVTs, what do you mean by this? Now this is also one of the terminology. As we discussed earlier, network variables are non-persistent objects that exist within the nodes. You can create up to 62 NVs as per node. NVs are configured using SNVTs. So what is this SNVTs? That are required to configure NVs. The standard network variable type, that is called SNVT, are defined the properties of the NVI or NVO. So this terminology are interlinked with each other. This is very important concept, so much so we are going to be spend some time for this. So configuration parameters, CPs. What do you mean by these CPs now? So how to configure this parameter? So configuration parameters are similar to NVs in that they allow you to write them. They are different in that they are persistent, and you can have a unlimited account of CPs per node. So these CPs are configuration parameters, just like a NVs, and there are unlimited amount of CPs per nodes are available. CPs are configured using standard configuration parameter types, that is SCPT, and that are similar to SNVTs. So again, same. Here is the difference between SNVTs and CPs. So that difference is mentioned over here. So now the same is continued over here. So loan profile. So that is a loan profile. A loan profile is very similar to BTL application profile, and it is how we go about knowing what we can and cannot integrate. So to why this profile is important, to get understanding of knowing what we can and what we cannot integrate with this particular protocol. Loan profiles exist to define mandatory NVs, optional NVs, then configuration parameters. These 3 things we can define with this particular profile. That is mandatory, which are the mandatory NVs, which are the optional NVs, and how many are the configuration parameters. So which are the then physical networking structure of this particular protocol. Loan networks are made up of the following physical components. So which are that physical component? Segments, nodes, repeaters and routers. These are the four physical network structures. Segment. A loan segment is a single physical network segment. Typically, segments refer to that FT10 we have given this particular example. Segment consists of 64 or less nodes and are typically limited to 900 M. Since loan is a free topology, meaning we can do T-taps and do not have to daisy chain devices, the segment length can be difficult to calculate. So this particular segment is the part that actually involves the transmitter part and actually trans-receivers part, we can say that, where the nodes are connected, and that nodes are with the nodes are connected with much distance, we can say that up to 900 M by T-tap type of configuration. Then repeaters serves the same function as backnet repeaters. They exist to amplify existing signal. So I will just, in short, I can say that these repeaters are used to amplify existing signals. Then routers. So routers allows you to do the four things. What are that? Switch transmission mediums. Then it filters network traffic. It isolates subnet into channels, and it refreshes the network signal. So these are the four functions of routers. There are two kind of routers available, that is configured routers and learned routers. Loan has a physical and logical addresses also. The loan logical network structure has the following limits. There are the domains are 2⁴. The subnets available are 255, and the nodes available in the particular network structures are 127. This is the limit for this particular loan structure. There are two more logical constructs, and those are channels and groups. So channels are segments. Actually, channels are all the segments coming off a loan router. Remember that the things called as a repeater, it allows us to extend segments. So repeaters are also there that allows the addition of segments. There are groups also. So groups are the way of logically grouping nodes. And there are number of groups, the nodes that call as a group. So that may be 15 group to may be connected to 64 nodes. The groups exist at the domain level. So this way to logically group a similar nodes. So this is about groups. Yes. Then operating system. So loan network services operating system, that is LNS-OS. So LNS-OS is loan network service operating system, is essentially a middleware layer that interacts with the loan network. So the LNS-OS does a lot of different things. One of its primary job is to interact with LNS database in order to facilitate the transfer of LON network traffic. So this is particularly loan operating system details are mentioned over here. So there is a LNS database that is also required in this particular operating system. So the most important information that is stored in this particular database is node addresses, network layouts, application configurations, NV bindings. All these things are there in the database. So yes, there is much more things are mentioned over here about the database. Then there is a programming. So how can be program can be taken place over there? So loan can be programmed by two ways: graphical free programming language or plugins for the application specific controllers. So these are the programming ways for the loan network protocol. Yes, here the small comparison is logical comparison is mentioned over the backnet. So that is backnet network. Here is loan domain. There is there are physical segments. Here are channels. In backnet there are nodes. Here also nodes. The objects are present in both. There are property types in backnet, but here there are SNVTs. Then in this way, we can say that how many terminologies are involved in a particular network protocol. Now you are well familiar. So I request to all that you can go one two times about that particular terminologies, so that you are well familiar with these particular words. Now I will not go in much about these particular details in forthcoming protocols. Now the third protocol is a C-bus protocol, or sometimes called as a Clapsal C-bus protocol. This C-bus protocol is a communication protocol based on 7-layer OSI model for home and building automation. Same type, same thing. It was created by Clipsal Australia, and now that is the part of Schneider Electric. Now this is purchased by Schneider Electric for the Clipsal brand of home automation and building lighting controls. C-bus became an open protocol in the year 2008. The C-bus also mainly we can be recognized by their full form: construction and building unions superannuation. So that is the organization in Australia. C-bus provides a great deal of flexibility in switching and control functions. These are the main areas of operation in switching and control functions, and can be changed, added, removed, moved, or reprogrammed at any position on the network without any cumbersome hardwiring. So these are the main benefits of this particular protocol, so that it is open protocol. So the functions can be changed, added, removed, moved, or reprogrammed at any position on the network without any hardwiring. It uses a dedicated low voltage cable. Okay, it uses low voltage cable to 1000 meter per 3000 feet to carry command and control signals, making it suitable for large commercial applications. Yes, this is also very popular protocol. The protocol is administered by the C-bus enabled program, which provides certification as well as information and support to third-party developers for the design and development of commercial product. Yes, there is a background support is essential, that is given by the C-bus enabled programs. They are provided by, they can provide the certifications, and that this particular we can say that Schneider Electric division, so to develop the so any third party can develop the commercial product using this protocol. So what are applications? So application usually the mainly in building application, we can say that mainly this involved in lighting control, but can also control pumps, motors, and virtually any other type of electric load. You can see here clearly that the HVAC word is not used in this particular sentence of application. So we can say that slightly this can be limited to lighting controls, but it is mentioned that can also be useful for pumps, motors, and any other type of electrical device control. What are the highlights of this particular protocol? So highly robust and reliable control system. This word is very important. Robust means that at any disturbance and uncertainty, this particular protocol works very well, and it is reliable also. Then it interfaces to both PC based and embedded systems also. It's like a microcontroller, and that the device is controlled via a single cable. Is 100 devices per cable. In one cable, maximum we can have 100 devices we can control with by using this particular protocol C-bus. Simple to install and commission, can control any type of load, digital and analog, that is also important, and any type of load that is also mentioned in the highlight, that may be digital or any analog type of device. Networking topology is free topology architecture is there, and the media is unshielded twisted pair cables are used, and transport protocol uses proprietary protocols that are allows DALI, OPC, web services, and Zigbee. Means that for a broadband type of communication and internet communication, maybe DALI, OPC, or that Zigbee, and that is used. Data can be transported over RS-232 also and TCP/IP protocols also. The license, no fee required, paid license is available with increased support for partners' regional relevance. CBus is used in Australia, New Zealand, Asia, the Middle East, Russia, USA, South Africa, UK, and other parts of Europe, including Greece and Romania also. So Asia is also mentioned over there. So that yes, in India also, hopefully this can be used. The website support is available on the www.cbus-enabled.com. Then fourth protocol is Modbus. Now how much is time? It's 1 o'clock. So reply from your side that can we continue or we can discuss this in next session.
Sir, how much time will it take?
It is 1 o'clock, no? Yes, it required 5 minutes to cover this, all this protocol. Can I cover this?
Yes, sir, please continue.
Okay, thank you. The Modbus is a serial communication protocol developed by Modicon. Now again it can be now the transfer to Schneider Electric in 1979. Originally created for use with Modicon's program. The original the utilization was on only programmable logic controllers, but now it is used all over. Now it was released as on open protocol in the year 2004 and has become a de facto standard for the connecting a wide range of industrial electronic devices. So this can be become now a standard, and we are much familiar with this word Modbus. The Modbus protocol uses a client-server architecture to manage communication between a host and intelligent devices. So a client-server type of architecture is implemented in this particular protocol, and can communicate between host and intelligent devices, especially sensors in data acquisition system. In building automation, it is used to control equipment such as chillers, boilers, and fans. So now their specific use in building automation is also mentioned in this particular sentence. So yes, Modbus is important for chillers, boilers, and fan type of control. Noted for its flexible and open communication, Modbus is one of the most widely used protocol in the world. The protocol is administered by Modbus organization, a group of independent users and suppliers of automation devices. The organization promotes the use of Modbus, supports users and supplies and certifies compliant devices. So yes, that there is an organization like other protocols, there is a Modbus organization, and there is a group of independent users and suppliers are there. So they can work behind this protocol for the support and certification and that all the issues. Applications. The Modbus is used to communicate between intelligent devices and sensors and instruments, and to monitor field devices using PCs and human machine interfaces, that is HMIs. Modbus is most widely used as an industrial protocol, but is also popular in building, infrastructure, transportation, and energy applications. So vast variety of applications are there. So building automation is one of the area of application of this particular Modbus protocols. Highlights. What are the features or highlights of this protocol? It developed for industrial application, now widely used in building. Millions of Modbus nodes used in worldwide. easy to deploy and maintain, offers vendors low cost development. The network topology is line topology. The media used may be 2-wire, 4-wire, wireless mesh is also there. And transport protocol may use IP or Ethernet type of protocols. The data can be transported via ASCII RTU also. That is also possible. Modbus license, no fees, regional relevance, international standard. It's internationally used, and website for this Modbus is modbus.org. Then there is a M-bus protocol. M-bus means that meter bus protocol is a European standard for the remote readout of consumption meters. Now this particular M-bus protocol is a European standard developed to read out of consumption of meters. There are different meters connected, implemented, installed over the building or any industrial application. That may be the heat meters, gas meters, and that in homes and building. It was developed in the year 1990s at the University of Paderborn in conjunction with Texas Instruments. Yes, and is now widely used in many European countries for smart metering. M-bus makes it possible to read meters remotely. Makes it possible to read meters remotely from host computer or handle devices also, or it can also handle that particular devices. In building automation, M-bus can be linked to the building system to provide integration with other systems such as HVAC and lighting. The protocol is based on ISO OSI reference model to provide openness and easy integration with other protocols. Yes, all the facilities are available with this protocol also, so that, but the main purpose is integration with the HVAC and lighting systems, and their base is ISO OSI model. And it is also openness protocol. There is a easy of integration to other protocols. M-bus is administered by M-bus user group, which conducts occasional seminars, and that is a group. The details is mentioned. M-bus is used to report reading from water, gas, heat, electric meters, as well as walls and actuators. Now here complete applications are mentioned over here. You can see in this particular slide: water, gas, heat, electric meters. Also sometimes used for alarming and flexible illumination systems. What are the highlights of this protocol? A single cable can link all meters in the building. Wireless versions available for maximum flexibility. Meters are individually addressable and also allows meter to be installed in hard to access places. It also provides integration of energy monitoring for building optimization. So many advantages of this particular protocol. The topology is line topology, media is twisted pair, wireless version is also there, and not define any standard for the standport protocol. So the internet communication can be possible via IP. License, no fees, regional relevance. M-bus mainly is an European standard. Yes, European standard, but globally it can be useful. So this is particular website of this protocol, m-bus.com.